Hey, it's Webs here, and it's time to prove ourselves with Proving Ground and Demon Hunter. So this is a deck that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, but it hasn't really gotten that much new support since its release. So we're going to be trying to use Imprison Anton before he actually rotates out with this deck, as this is probably one of the best targets for Proving Grounds. And we're also going to use Humongous Owl as a new support card for this deck, because you really don't care if this dies whenever you use Proving Grounds, as it is just 8 free damage, and it does allow us to use Pit Commander as an additional way to try to get the Imprison Antons out of the deck. And with that being said, and besides Humongous Owl, there is one other really spicy tech that I have in this deck, which is Glide. This is in here just so you can shuffle back a lot of your high cost minions that you might have and try to fish for Proving Grounds as quickly as humanly possible while not having the targets for Proving Grounds in your hand. For the Mulligan guide of the deck, you're looking for cards that are either early game removal tools, Proving Ground, or some type of drawing power so you can actually try to find Proving Grounds as quickly as possible. But if you have Proving Grounds in your hand, focus more on the early game removal tools, as those will serve you a better purpose and give you a much lower chance of actually drawing into any of the minions that you have in the deck. Of course, you're going to want to mulligan away every single minion in this deck, because you don't want any of the minions to actually be in your hand. You'd rather have them in the deck. With that being said, let's look at some games. Alright, time for a game against Priest. Ooh, Proving Grounds in the open hand is actually pretty decent in this matchup. It should be a slower one, so we're gonna mulligan away the Spectral Sight, getting the second Immolation Aura. Those aren't really that decent in this matchup, but they are good removal tools in theory. Forgot to use my hero power, which is not a good sign. It is quest line, so this might be a little bit of a worse matchup. Okay, I guess they're just trying to get their quest line done. We can just hero power their face again, I guess. Okay, so they played a Scorpid, and that should trigger another part of the first part of their quest line. We can play the I-Beam, might as well get it out of the way just so none of our big minions die whenever we play them down in 2 turns. Drawing into 2 of the big minions is not what I like to see though, which is why I'm running Glide in this deck. No other reason to run Glide if it wasn't for that. Okay, so they're going to coin something out. A palm reading, interesting. Okay, we can put down the Acolyte just for shits and giggles, see if it sticks. They're going to shuffle in Amulet of the Undying. They're going to use Hysteria, and it really will do nothing. But it is the completion for their second part of the quest, or the first part of the quest line, which I guess is the reason why you would do something like that. Okay, now we can prove ourselves against this opponent. Or we could put down the Imprison Anton. And I know I'm not pronouncing that right, but I really don't care that much. And we get one anyway, so that's pretty good. Along with the Humongous Owl. Okay, they're going to play a Light Shower Elemental. We could just use attack into the Elemental with the Owl, and then use the second Proving Grounds. Because they are going to heal here, which is fine, but we can see what we get here. Getting a Pit Commander and the Acolyte, which is actually pretty decent. We should draw out the other Pit Commander here, and as long as they don't have a Soul Mirror, we should be in a really good position. Even if they have a Soul Mirror, we should be able to kill it next turn with Immolation Aura. They do have a Soul Mirror, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's alright. Actually, we might not even need to use Immolation Aura. We could probably just kill the entire board with the 10 damage from the Imprisoned. When we kill most of the board, we can play the second Imprisoned, or we could use the Chaos Leech to kill off one minion, and then we can just attack with our lower HP one. We should have probably attacked with the full HP one, but we're 1 off of lethal, and we should get it next turn. We're going to AoE our board, which is annoying. We might not actually have lethal next turn, as long as they remember to heal themselves, that is. Light Shower Elemental, that actually might be a little bit annoying, but we do draw 2. Oh, that's the perfect top deck. That's just GG. it's time for the Battle of the Storm Rages. But which brother is better, Illidan or Malfurion? We're going to mulligan everything here away except for the Spectral Sight and Flanking Maneuver. Getting 2 more removal tools for early game, which is pretty good, though we do want Immolation Aura probably as the key removal tool in a matchup like this. It really depends on what the actual deck that this druid is playing. Okay, so that doesn't really tell us. It could be just ramp druid. Okay, so they're going to hero power and not attack. Okay, that's just weird. I get hero powering to armor up, but should at least attack, right? Okay, we're going to hero power then pass the turn back. Okay, Illidari Studies gains us Vilefiend Trainee. We might as well just coin it out, because why not? We wouldn't get the outcast no matter what if we don't. Okay, so they are ramp druid. We're just going to do some face damage here, try to kill them before they can actually ramp into anything really scary. We're going to draw a card because the chances of us getting that outcast is going to be extremely low. Glide is probably extremely low now because we're going to draw 2 cards. Okay, so Guff is a little bit annoying, but if we can burn them before they can actually get Guff to be useful, or we could use Glide. We'd somehow have to get Glide in the leftmost position, because the rightmost position isn't going to probably be likely. We're going to draw 2 here. Mungus Owl, not something I want to see. And the Anton definitely is not something I want to see. Going to use Flanking Maneuver, why not? Just put some extra damage on board. Raid Box Onyxia is going to be a little bit annoying to deal with, but we do have Immolation Aura, which means we should be able to deal it in 1 turn. Close to 1 turn, actually. Use the Immolation Aura, use the Chaos Leech, and then we don't have enough mana to actually kill it this turn, but we do have the Bell Barrage next turn to actually finish it off, which is good. They're at 11 mana, which is a little bit annoying. We're going to hero power, gain another mana, draw the highest cost card in their deck, Cenarian Ward, gain another minion. We're still going to kill off the Onyxia this turn. Oh, that would have been cool if we had that with the Immolation Aura. But a turn too slow, we're just going to place it down. Okay, so we're getting real low. They're going to use Lightning Bloom twice. Lunar Eclipse. Okay. Malagos. That's a little bit annoying. Mr. Smite. That's frustrating to see because it does mean we're at low enough life where it might actually matter. Flanking Maneuver to get rid of the Cahoon is actually really good here. And we have to use the Glide. Even though it doesn't reset their hand, we need to try to find a Proving Grounds or something. And our hand is actually more clogged than before, so we might just lose from this position. Now, what are they going to do? They're in a pretty good position right now, so they drew into most of their cards. I'm assuming they have Kazakhstan in hand or left in their deck. It really just depends. Celestial Alignment. Okay, so that might be one of the only ways we could actually win this game. By them resetting their mana, we can play down the Pit Commander to protect our face, for 1. Getting another Pit Commander or a Anton out of the deck. And then we do have next turn the Colossus and the other Prison, so we should be really good there. I would rather have a Proving Grounds, but I'll take my victories where I can get them. Okay, they're going to use Overgrowth. It's annoying that it costs 0, but Chaos Leech is interesting because it does allow us to get rid of the minion on board, and we get the second Pit Commander out of the deck. Who would have guessed playing Celestial Alignment while you're ahead is probably not the best idea in the world, especially if you have an idea that the opponent is playing some type of big minion deck. We're going to kill one of the Pit Commanders, which is perfectly fine because I'm assuming they think we're just a very bricked Vander Demon Hunter at this point. They're going to kill the second big commander, which is fine. Get a copy of the card out of their deck. Okay, so we're going to do a bunch of damage to basically their minions. Glide is interesting because it means we can refill our hand. But we're just going to play the Imprison down first. Attack into one of their minions. See what we get here. Spectral Sight, Among Us Owl, Bell Barrage, the second Colossus, which I think actually means Proving Grounds is offline. So we do have a really good board, but we sadly didn't get to use Proving Grounds at all this game. But we should win next turn unless they have some miracle play. I mean, it's possible, but they randomly generated the Celestial Alignment, so I don't think it was in their game plan. I'm assuming they're fishing for Kazakhstan, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late if they even draw into him. They're going to buff up their minion. Shouldn't really matter too much. We might not have lethal this turn, but we'll have it the next turn. There's the Proving Grounds that I think will absolutely do nothing for... Actually, it might draw us into an Owl. Oh, it actually draws us into 2 minions. I forgot I had the Alkalites in the deck. Going to attack with one of them, use the Bell Barrage, draw 2 cards, might as well, and just go face and win the game. It's a battle of the Demon Hunters for this game. I very much doubt this is going to be a Proving Grounds mirror match, but it always could be in theory. We're going to mulligan everything away except for the Sigil and Glide. We get into Proving Grounds in our open hand, which is pretty good. Getting the Imprisoned is pretty bad though. I almost wanted to run Philosophy in this deck just for the Imprisons because I thought it would be really funny, but I ended up going against it because I don't know. I thought maybe I'd revisit the Imprisons before the set rotation, and then I remembered, oh hey, there's only 2 weeks before the rotation, so that probably won't happen. Unless he gets moved to core set, which is always a possibility. We're going to use Sigil here, probably, as a turn 1 play. We could also just attack. It really depends on what we want to do. Yep, I'm going to use the Sigil, pass the turn back. The one issue about using a bunch of draw power in a deck like this is the fact that you do draw into your minions quite quickly. We have the Bell Barrage to instantly deal with that minion, which is really good for us. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Chaos Leech can also deal with it if we feel like it, or I-Beam. I-Beam's probably the better option, or we could just use the Bell Barrage. The reason why I-Beam would be better there is just because of the fact that it would have been outcasted, which is honestly a deck that I hope becomes something in the future. Just seems like Blizzard doesn't want to support the deck as a whole, which is really strange because it is Demon Hunter's like iconic ability. Though we can use the second Bell Barrage to kill one of their minions and then Hero Power kill the other minion. Getting really annoyed with all these really cheap minions, but I'm assuming it's aggro Demon Hunter, which hasn't really seen any play. I'm assuming people are doing the same thing I'm doing, where you're revisiting old decks just before they rotate out. We're going to pass the turn back. The next turn we should be able to use Proving Grounds and just win the uphill battle from there, because if they are aggro, okay, this is definitely a old aggro Demon Hunter list. It's been quite a while since I saw someone using a Pull Celt in Demon Hunter in particular. It could be actually OTK. That's always a possibility. Yeah, going to coin out Proving Grounds. Don't know why this took the past self so long. And getting those 2 are actually probably the best combo that we possibly could get, because that means we get the other Pit Commander out of the deck. In this position, I would just give up. There are times where I won't give up until I know for a fact I'm going to lose, but this is definitely one of those positions where I don't know what Demon Hunter could actually do to win from this position. Using their hero card might allow them to get rid of one of the minions, which is fine. But if they don't know how my deck is actually built, they can't know I don't have any other demons in the deck. Actually, we could use the Glide to shuffle the second demon into the deck and then grab it out of the deck afterwards. Really bad idea, but we can do it. We're just going to put down the second one instead. That idea was really funny, but I don't think the past me saw that combo. Or I was too fixated in trying to get their hands small. And the good thing is they put Skull of Gul'dan next, which means Glide is actually pretty well online. Unless they give up right here. And they do. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. The deck did relatively poorly. It did have like a 48% win rate, which is alright, I guess. But it's one of those decks that I can't really recommend unless you want to use Proving Grounds. And the reason why I say unless you want to use Proving Grounds is because of the fact that Proving Grounds probably after rotation is going to be a non-existent card in any type of deck, just because of the fact that there aren't any new good targets for Proving Grounds, and a lot of the really good targets are rotating out. Imprison Anton is rotating out, Pit Commander is rotating out, Scrapyard Colossus is rotating out. That leaves you basically with Humongous Owl and Burning Blade Acolyte, which isn't enough for a deck like this to actually fully function. But if you do want to try to make this card work before those cards rotate out, perfect deck for you. Otherwise, don't try to play this deck. It's honestly not that good. And with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.